Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nimakong.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chap. 26, one of Jane Eyre, an autobiography.
As.
Al.
Jane Eyre, an autobiography. Brontë. Chap. 26, one. Sophie came as Sivan to dress me. She was very long indeed in accomplishing her task. So long that Mr. Rochester groaned, I suppose, impatient of my delay, sent up to ask why I did not come. Here with the birch. I hurried from under her hands as soon as I could. Stop, she cried in French. Look at yourself in the mirror. So I turned at the door. I saw a robed and veiled figure, so unlike my usual self that it seemed almost the image of a stranger. Jane called a voice, and I hastened down. I was received at the foot of the stairs by Mr. Rochester. Then, he said, my brain is on fire with impatience. He took me into the dining room, surveyed me keenly all over, pronounced me fair as a lily, and not only the pride of his life. 10 minutes to eat some breakfast. He rang the bell. One of his lately hired servants, a footman, answered it. Yes. They are bringing it down. Go you to the church. See if Mr. Wood the clergyman and the clerk are there. Church, as the reader knows, was but just beyond the gates. The footman soon returned. Mr. Which is in the vestry. So, we shall not want it to go to church, but it must be ready the moment we return. All the boxes and luggage ranged and strapped on. Yes. Jane. I rose. There were no groomsmen, no bridesmaids, no relatives to wait for our marshal, none but Mr. Rochester and I. Mice. Fairfax stood in the hall as we passed. I would fain have spoken to her, but my hand was held by a grasp of iron. I was hurried along by a stride I could hardly follow, and to look at Mr. any purpose. I wondered what other bridegroom ever looked as he did so bent up to purpose, so grimly resolute, or you, under such steadfast brows, ever revealed such flaming and flashing eyes. I know not whether the day was fair or foul. In descending the drive, I gazed neither on sky nor earth. My heart was with my eyes, and birth seemed migrated into Mr. Rochester's frame. I wanted to see the invisible thing on which, as we went on, he appeared to fasten a glance fierce and full. I wanted to feel the vocious force he seemed bursting and resisting. At the churchyard wicket he stopped. He discovered I was quite out of breath. Am I cruel in my life? He said. Delay an instant. Lean on me. Come before me. I've a rook wheeling round the steeple. I've a ruddy morning sky beyond. I remember something, too, of the green grave mounds, and I have not forgotten. Eyre, The few mossy headstones. I noticed them because, as they saw us, they passed round to the back of the church. The ceremony. By Mr. Rochester they were not observed. He was earnestly looking at my face, from which the blood had, I dare say, momentarily fled, for I felt my forehead dirty, and my cheeks and lips cold. When I rallied, which I soon did, he walked gently with me up the path to the porch. We entered the quiet and humble temple. The priest waited in his white surplice at the lowly altar. The clerk beside him. All was still. Two shadows only moved in a remote corner. My conjecture had been correct. The strangers had slipped in before us, and they now stood by the vault of the Rochesters, their backs towards us, viewing the rails the old-time stained marble tomb, where a kneeling angel guarded the remains of Dame de Rochester, slain at Marston Moor in the time of the Civil Wars, and of Elizabeth, his wife. Our place was taken at the communion rails. Hearing a cautious step behind me, I glanced over my shoulder. One of the strangers, a gentleman, evidently was advancing up the chancel. The service began. The explanation of the intent of matrimony was gone through, and then the clergyman came a step further forward, and then, bending slightly towards Mr. Rochester, went on. Children, when the secrets of all hearts shall be disclosed, together in matrimony, ye do not confess it. Word doth allow, are not joined together by God. He paused, as the custom is. When is the pause after that sentence ever broken by a reply? That perhaps once in 100 years. And the clergyman, who had not lifted his eyes from his book, and had held his breath for a moment, was proceeding. His hand was already stretched towards Mr. Rochester, as his lips unclosed to ask, "Wilt thou have this woman for thy wedded wife when a distinct and every said, the marriage cannot go on?" The clergyman looked up at the speaker and stood mute. To be continued.